My name is Dr. Alexei Petrov. It's November 11th, 2022. Approximately 11 p.m. I'm making this recording for anyone unfortunate enough to stumble upon this site. Let me just say outright that I never wanted to end up like this. Trapped in the darkness, my body numb from pain, cold biting at my skin as fear claws at my sanity. But I suppose I should start from the beginning, when I still thought scientific research had a bright and promising future.
I'm a paleontologist with a specialization in ancient Arctic life forms. I spent nearly a decade in the military, which opened doors for me to gravitate to research. For years, I had conducted research at various remote stations in the Arctic Circle and the Antarctic, studying prehistoric fossils and ice cores to better understand the history of our frigid wastelands. It was a lonely and often thankless job, but the pursuit of knowledge has always been my passion. Several months ago, I was back in the States, taking a break from the harsh Antarctic climate, and spending time with my wife and 2 young daughters. I occupied my Sunday afternoon with a book as I waited for them to return from grocery shopping. Suddenly there came 3 sharp knocks on my front door. I opened the door to find a tall and slender man. "Good afternoon, Dr. Petrov," the man began. "My name is Dr. Morgan Sinclair. I was sent here by my company to discuss a research opportunity with you." "And what opportunity is that?" I quipped. Smiling, he said R3 Industries, and asked politely to be let in. "We can talk outside," I said. "As you wish." Dr. Sinclair was a striking individual. He had sharp, piercing blue eyes and vibrant red hair that contrasted sharply with the immaculate black suit he wore. He possessed an aura of confidence and intelligence which he demonstrated through his extensive knowledge of my research and accomplishments. Dr. Sinclair had a peculiar way of speaking, with a cadence and tone that seemed to mesmerize and command attention. He seemed to be well versed in a multitude of scientific fields, with the ability to discuss topics ranging from paleoclimatology to molecular biology. As our conversation continued, I learned that R3 Industries was a research corporation that operated in various sectors, including technology, pharmaceuticals, aerospace, and renewable energy. It was led by a man named Rami Al-Mansour. Dr. Sinclair spoke cryptically about Rami Al-Mansour's vision for the future, hinting at grandiose plans and groundbreaking research that would hopefully change the course of human history. He spoke enthusiastically about the research opportunity, but I had a lingering unease in the pit of my stomach. Something just didn't feel right. The mission was a research expedition in the Antarctic, whose purpose was to investigate the impact of climate change on ancient ecosystems preserved in the ice. The long-term goal being to conduct research that could help address the global environmental crisis. I was to assemble a team, with the assurance that money was no object, and that my team and I would be given access to state-of-the-art equipment and resources. Additionally, I would be given the autonomy to do other research I wanted up to 50% of the time. Despite my unease, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and an offer I couldn't bring myself to refuse. Since Dr. Sinclair spoke of my benefactor sparing no expense, I didn't. I put together a research team composed of some of the most brilliant minds from around the world, each bringing their own unique expertise. Among them were Dr. Svetlana Ivanova, our geologist, Dr. Haruki Watanabe, a biologist with a focus on ancient life, and Dr. Lena Mueller, an expert in glaciology. They did insist on choosing a single member of my team, a man by the name of Samuel O'Connor, a seasoned explorer and survivalist who was to serve as our guide and company liaison. My bags were packed, I was filled with a combination of excitement and anticipation. This journey had been months in the making, with meticulous planning and preparation, as the Antarctic is not an easily accessible location for most people. To get there, I first flew to Ushuaia, a city in southern Argentina. Ushuaia is often referred to as the gateway to Antarctica, as it serves as a starting point for many Antarctic expeditions. After spending a day acclimatizing to the colder temperatures and procuring some last-minute supplies, I boarded a company-provided research vessel with my fellow researchers to our final destination, Lake Vostok. Lake Vostok is a challenging environment and one of the most remote environments in the world, so our ship was specifically designed to withstand the difficulties posed by this icy landscape. As we embarked on our journey, we were accompanied by an experienced crew, well versed in navigating through the treacherous ice of the Antarctic continent. The ship cut through the ice with relative ease thanks to its reinforced hull and powerful engines. Several days in, the ship reached its limit. We had to take snowmobiles in from that point on. I didn't understand why the research site had to be in such a remote location. There were several suitable sites that were just as valid to do any ecosystem research we could imagine. I remember Dr. Sinclair advising that the research station was built specifically in a remote section of the Antarctic, where man could not easily reach. I wish I had listened to what my instincts were telling me at the time. As our snowmobiles steadily made their way across the frozen landscape, the research station began to emerge in the distance. The station, which we later learned was named Elysium, was a marvel of modern engineering. It was a sprawling complex consisting of interconnected modules, each designed to serve a specific purpose. The central module housed the main research facility, a state-of-the-art laboratory equipped with the latest technology and equipment. It was here that we would conduct our studies on the ancient ecosystems, as well as any other research projects that piqued our curiosity. Adjacent to the central module was a spacious living quarters, complete with comfortable sleeping areas, a communal dining room, and a small gym to help us maintain our physical and, let's be honest, mental well-being during our stay in this inhospitable environment. The exterior of Elysium was covered in reflective materials designed to minimize heat loss, while solar panels and wind turbines provided a clean and renewable source of energy. The station also featured an advanced water purification system that allowed us to recycle our water supply. A separate module contained a fully stocked infirmary, which I hoped would remain relatively unused during our stay. One of the most intriguing aspects of Elysium was its subterranean section, accessible via a hatch in the central module. This underground area housed additional research facilities, including an ice core drilling station and geothermal energy plant. The plant harnessed the Earth's natural heat to provide a secondary source of power to the station. As we settled into our new home, we couldn't help but be impressed by the sheer scale and sophistication of Elysium. It was clear that R3 Industries had spared no expense in constructing this research station, and it made me more uneasy that I had never heard of this company before. Nonetheless, we were eager to begin our work. After unpacking our belongings and settling into our respective rooms, we gathered in the central module for an orientation session led by Samuel O'Connor. He briefed us on the safety protocols and emergency procedures, stressing the importance of working as a team and always being mindful of our surroundings. With the safety formalities out of the way, we moved on to our primary objective. Dr. Sinclair joined via satellite and went over our objective documents. Our primary focus was to investigate the impact of climate change on ancient ecosystems preserved in the ice. Of course, we were also afforded time to explore other scientific interests. The sheer potential for discovery in this uncharted territory and with this equipment was exhilarating, and we couldn't wait to get started. We worked over the next few weeks, drilling ice cores, analyzing samples, and conducting experiments. We collected a lot of invaluable data, shedding new light on the history of the Antarctic and the secrets it held. As our research progressed, we began to notice strange patterns in the ice cores. anomalies that didn't quite fit with our existing understanding of the region's geology and climate. There were bands in the ice that just didn't make sense, materials that seemed to be organic. We needed to investigate these anomalies further. We decided that the only way to make further progress is to collect deeper samples. We set on a plan to venture underground via the subterranean module in order to collect the samples. We would spend the rest of the day preparing and begin our underground expedition the following morning. As I sat in the station's rec room, reviewing my notes from the day's meeting, the frigid cold seemed to seep through the walls, leaving me with a constant chill that had become all too familiar during our time at Elysium. I glanced up as Samuel entered the room. He had a peculiar expression on his face.
"Hey, Alexei," he said, sitting down across from me. "I've been thinking about our underground expedition.
There's something I want to discuss with you." "Sure. What's on your mind?" I asked, setting aside my notes and giving him my full attention. Samuel hesitated for a moment before speaking. "I know this may sound strange, but I think we should bring some additional equipment with us. I'm going to take an assault rifle and some C4 explosives along with me." I furrowed my brow, puzzled by his request. "Can I ask why? We're here for research, not to wage war. What could possibly warrant needing that?" He looked around, ensuring no one else was within earshot before leaning in and lowering his voice. "Every expedition needs security. I just want to be prepared. You spent a lot of time in the military. You know what that's about." I stared at him, trying to gauge his intentions. I respected that Samuel was our company liaison and essentially my boss, but his cryptic response left me feeling uneasy. "I need more than that," I said. "You're asking me to put my trust in you, but you're not giving me any reason to do so." Samuel's gaze shifted, evading my eyes. "I'm not asking, Alexei. I just want you to know as a courtesy." I was taken aback by his rudeness. "Fuck your courtesy." He frowned in anger. "I'm just trying to do my fucking job," he said as he walked away. What was he hiding? Why the need for weapons for a research expedition?
The conversation gnawed at me, leaving me on edge as we prepared the rest of the day.
The following morning, our team ventured through the subterranean module and deep into the Antarctic ice. This was our first time going deep into the module, which leveraged the natural tunnels in the ice. We endeavored to travel as far as the tunnels would take us. The tunnels were caused by thousands of years of freezing and thawing, and they were as beautiful as they were inhospitable. After walking for what felt like an hour, we stumbled upon something that defied explanation. A subterranean chamber. The chamber was vast and eerily silent. We were disturbed to find that the walls were adorned with intricate carvings. These were not naturally made. They bore no resemblance to any known language or culture. At the center of the chamber stood a colossal structure, an enigmatic monument that seemed to emanate a palpable energy. The team was awestruck by the discovery of the carvings in this monument. These must have been relics of some undiscovered civilization, I thought. The magnitude of the discovery fueled our curiosity. We began to study the carvings, attempting to decipher their meaning and unlock the secrets they held. Dr. Watanabe collected samples from the chamber, searching for any signs of ancient microbial life that might once have inhabited this subterranean world. As our investigation progressed within the chamber, we began to feel an unease in the air. The energy emanating from the central structure seemed to grow stronger, casting an eerie, otherworldly glow throughout the chamber. A sense of unease settled over the team, the tension becoming even more palpable. As we continued to collect data, we noticed the temperature gradually rising. It was a peculiar phenomenon, one that we couldn't fully explain. Dr. Mueller hypothesized that the heat might be caused by volcanic activity deep beneath the ice, though no such activity had been previously documented in the region. The air became muggy and oppressive. We heard an audible gasp from Dr. Watanabe by the monument. This is a biological entity, preserved perfectly in the ice, Dr. Watanabe exclaimed. It was a colossal beast, encased in ice. It had an elongated serpentine body and massive leathery wings. Its eyes, though frozen, seemed to gleam with a sinister intelligence. This is the most significant discovery in the history of mankind, Dr. Watanabe continued. What is it exactly? Could it be extraterrestrial? Dr. Mueller asked. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We need to collect samples once the ice thaws enough. Dr. Watanabe could not contain his excitement. Maybe it's a member of an undiscovered species, perhaps even a missing link between reptiles and mammals, I said. We were elated, certain that we had made the discovery of a lifetime. It was with great excitement that we watched as the ice began to thaw around the creature. As the ice melted away and the creature's enormous form was gradually revealed, we realized the gravity of our situation. The once dormant beast began to stir, its eyes flickering to life with a malevolent glow. We watched in horror as it slowly awakened, the ancient ice that had imprisoned it now just a puddle at its feet. The air around us grew even warmer, as though the creature itself was radiating heat. Blind to the danger, we were scientists first and foremost, and our desire to study this unprecedented discovery battled with our instinct to flee. We documented the creature as best as we could, taking photographs and securing the samples we collected from the rapidly melting ice. As the creature regained its full strength and began to move, our fear finally overcame our curiosity, and panic set in. In a frenzied cacophony of yelling and screaming, we tried to escape the horror we had unleashed, but we were too deep within the cavern. The labyrinthine passages that had seemed so promising and full of wonder now became a claustrophobic nightmare, trapping us in the bowels of the earth with the beast in hot pursuit. This being, this creature, proved to have incomprehensible strength and agility. It tore through rock and ice with ease, its immense body undulating like a serpent. Samuel unleashed a hail of bullets that seemed to bounce off its exoskeleton like they were nothing. We were no more of a threat to it than a housefly is to a lion. With each passing moment, our group dwindled, the creature picking us off one by one. Despair began to set in, as we realized we were trapped in this subterranean hell with no hope of escape. The screams of my colleagues still echoed in my ears, their final moments filled with pain and terror. Samuel and I hid in one of the passageways. We couldn't hear anyone else anymore. All we could hear was that terrible monster. Samuel handed me all but one of the C4 explosives. He whispered that he was going to try setting one off near the beast. I tried to stop him from the suicide mission. Our best chance for survival was to stay hidden, but he was as stubborn as ever. As Samuel rounded the corner, explosive and detonator in hand, I knew I would not see him again alive. I'm not proud of it, but I shut my eyes in terror as I heard his scream. Then came a deafening explosion that nearly knocked me off my feet. I ran for the full minute of confusion that this explosion afforded, and hid among one of the passages. For a long time, I heard nothing, but the persisting unease in the pit of my stomach did not betray me. After a few minutes, I heard the roar of the creature again. It was still alive. I am the last one left. My body is racked with exhaustion, my mind teetering on the edge of madness. I can hear the creature's movements in the distance, the steady scrape of its claws against the ice as it searches for me. I know I can't escape. I can't outrun this ancient predator. But perhaps there is one last thing I can do. I'm going to try and rig the remaining C4 explosives I have to go off, in the hopes that I can collapse the cavern around me. I know that I will not survive, but at least I can ensure that the beast will remain trapped within the earth with me.
As I record this last account of our doomed expedition, I hope this can serve as a warning to future generations. Let our scientific hubris and curiosity be a lesson to those who would seek to make discoveries beyond their comprehension. For some things are better left undiscovered. I pray that my sacrifice will be enough to contain the terror we have unleashed. For anyone who finds this and will listen, this is Dr. Alexei Petrov. Please tell my wife and daughters that I love them. May God have mercy on my soul.